Welcome to Lesson 4. So far, our player is represented as a simple blue square. But it's time to give it some personality. In this lesson, we'll replace that square with sprites. What's even cooler? The sprite will change based on the player's movement, left, right, or idle. First, we need to load the sprites for the player. These will replace the blue square and represent the player's idle state, as well as their movement left and right. Go to the top of your code, where we define constants, and add these file paths. These constants tell the game where to find the images for the player. Make sure your sprite images are saved in a folder called Sprites in your game directory. Next, we'll load the images and scale them to fit the grid. Add this right after the file paths. Here, we use Pygame's image load to bring the images into the game and transform scale to resize them to match the grid size. Next, we'll modify the player class to use these sprites. Instead of drawing a rectangle, the player will now render one of the sprites based on their movement direction. Let's update the player class. We add a current sprite attribute to track the player's current appearance. Update the move method to switch the sprite when the player moves left, right, or stays idle. Then we replace the rectangle in the draw method with screen.blit, which renders the current sprite. Now everything is set up. Run the game, and you should see the player's sprite change as they move around the grid. If you move left, the left-facing sprite will appear. If you move right, the right-facing sprite will appear. And if you're not moving, the idle sprite will display. And that's it for Lesson 4. Your player now has a visual identity, with dynamic sprites that change based on movement.